Hello, Paul James here. This is the second video for people that have received the email that I just sent about an hour ago. I'm going to follow on a little bit with that, and for others on an international basis, check the blog out. Canada, a nation of too many cowards. Obviously, I haven't eaten in 2 days now, and I mean completely not eating. If we count coffee with a cream in it as some calories, then that's hardly going to be enough to sustain, and I'm feeling it in my throat. What we've decided to do, people wanted me to take my clothes off, but I'm going to take my clothes off to show you when it's shockingly bad, I suppose. And in a miracle, I don't know if anything can happen in between that, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm receiving nothing on emails, but what I have done is I've read the article from Mary Ormsby. I've only had bits and pieces up till now, which were bad enough. And the reason I just can't read, I think it's something to do with post-traumatic stress disorder over the years. But I told that to Mary that I wouldn't be able to read the article, and I just trusted in her. As the blog says, you can see my anger with what it is. It's not even anger now, it's just almost apathy. I'm almost a complete apathy of disbelief on what's going on. So I just want to follow on with that blog. So people, please read the blog. But what was written by the Toronto Star was for the benefit of York University, for Bob Ray, and for the Liberal Government of Canada, to again not address what I've been fighting for all along, which is not for changing the discrimination laws. It's absolutely ridiculous. Since when have I ever said I wanted to change the discrimination laws? This is about implementing those laws. There's nothing wrong with the laws in 2008, 2009, 2012, right up to the present day as far as it goes about mental disability. The laws are in place. The Human Rights Commission have done a good job. You just didn't implement them. You've lied, you've deceived, and you haven't mentioned any of that. Mary Ormsby, you had an opportunity. You had two ways to go. You had A and B. A, being truthful and get to the truth for the benefit of all Canadian citizens, meaning that the economic burden of $51 billion could be penetrated by understanding how to deal with at the organizational level with people that come open, honorably and responsibly to receive support. That's all it was. You had the choice to be truthful or to be Machiavellian and to be dishonest, and you've been dishonest and aligned yourself with the deceit of this whole process. It's a total disgrace. So on that, just to talk about, when you say that I resign for stigmatizing, for self-stigma, absolutely, but there's a cause, there's an ignition to what self-stigma is. So the ignition's words that when I opened up to Jen Myers, honestly, in blue skies, grey clouds, she clearly knew. She said to me about going to the doctors and about getting a doctor's note. And if we need 3 months, I'm going to have to go to the Employee Wellness Office. It's all part of the judicial process. You mentioned none of that. And then when I come back, I had exactly the same phone conversation with, the conversation with Gold TV. Gold TV knew I was away. I come back, I get fired from Gold TV. That's what begins to ignite self-stigma, where you begin to retreat from that pain. It's like 10,000 bolts of lightning being hit on you, such as you're so desperate to keep your position and keep your job. Then my assistant coaches, prior to even going to rehab, they excommunicated with me for selfish reasons, for no other reason. I did no harm to them. Those are lightning bolts. Then Jen Myers blames me when Carmen used the wrong field. That's a lightning bolt. That's when I say at the end of the season, I'm going to resign my position. Not there and then. If I wanted to resign, I would have done it 2 years before I even came open. I would have done it right there on the spot. That's an indicator. That's what you do when you're self-stigmatized in such a profound health issue. And so Jen Myers, rather than do anything, York University, rather than do anything, they asked me to formalize my resignation. When I finally come back from my second rehab, they then say, I haven't even left the institution. They say my job doesn't exist anymore. And if I want to reapply for the women's position, I could, and my application would only be considered. It is bullion gold, absolutely illustrative of discrimination and of employment discrimination. And from that day forward, what makes it worse is 3 years later, Jen Myers lies in the submissions to the Canadian judiciary that she even knew that I was dealing with mental health issues. It's a disgrace, and it goes on from there. whether I told them about crack cocaine addiction or not is irrelevant. I told them about mental disability. There's the laws, there's everything. There was even $1 million spent on a report called Addiction in the Workplace that explains how difficult it is for people to open up about that specifically, and that you as managers of people in that position should know and be aware and be able to be sensitive about that. Just like academic students don't have to, they can talk about a mental disability, but they don't have to disclose exactly what that disability is. I've been discriminated throughout. Bob Ray, what you have said, with giving no quote, conveniently given no quote to the Toronto Star, but you will verify, Bob Ray, that when we met, you said that from your perspective and reading the documents, you disagree with every decision that York University have made. You disagree with every decision the Canadian judicial process has performed, right up to the Supreme Court of Canada, and that the system has treated me very badly. That's what you've said. I have it in writing over email from you, and now you conveniently turn around and say that there's a confidentiality between us when we've signed no agreement, but conveniently you now do it because you're offended by the fact that I'm offended by the way that you've handled this situation in this matter. I trusted it in you, Bob, and if you know all that, and if you see what all I've been living for, and I'm living on the street, and your modus operandi in this is to not get it solved right away, how can that be humane? You cannot be a leader of such high level without having some humanity about you. That's for all political people. And so conveniently though, Bob, you will speak behind my back to my sister and my father. So you can't have it both ways. You can't speak to some people and then decide not to speak to others. That's my position, and because I've gone on so long, and because I'm going to be doing this every single day as I deteriorate, I'm just letting the people know that have that Toronto Star. How can that ever be reversed, Mary Ormsby? That is in perpetuity now, that words and those things that you put together can never be reeled in. How disgusting. How do you think that I feel after that month that you came and smothered me with kindness, only then to be ruthlessly Machiavellian at the end? It's a disgrace to humanity, and it's why I don't care whether I exist or not. What I care is that the truth is coming forth. And by me staying alive, the truth will never come forward, because the system and the lawyers and the organizations are disgusting in Canada. So, with my passing, there's a greater chance that the truth will come out. I'll see you tomorrow.